Hello everybody, it is me, and I just wanted to make a short video about identifying Pokemon plushies. If you're invested in Pokemon plushies, this might not be anything new, so yeah, but for people who aren't that invested, I'm here to teach, like a teacher. So first off, I'll just go with the one on the very right. Here is Jack specific, not Gengar, here's him. This really does not have a tag, so yeah. I'll tell you some ways you can tell it's Jack specific. Number one, it's old. If you're like 20 and you have like a Pokemon plush from your childhood, it might be Jack specific. This is like the oldest lineup we have on the roster for today. And not only is it old, it's also pretty small. Most Jack specific plushies are like small. If you compare it to this new Riolu from Jazwares, which we'll get to later, it's a lot smaller than your like standard Pokemon plush. And yeah, hopefully that helps with these Jack specific plushies, because they're not too hard to catch. But I don't have anything else to say about them really. Now moving on, we have Toy Factory. I'm unaware when this brand started making Pokemon plushies, but I know they've been around for a while, and this is a recent plush, so they're still doing this, and they make recent Pokemon. So what's special about these ones? So, most of the times their fabric is scratchy. Not all of them are. I saw some around one that have like more, what's it called again? Minky looking fabric? Fabric looks like these ones. So those ones, I guess, are more of an exception though, because most of them have fabric like this, which you can hear the scratching. I don't know if you can hear the scratching actually. It's not to my microphone. But there are some corners cut here, because this is a fair plush pretty much. Like these fingers here, these toes. A lot of other plushies would have not done that, or would have like made better things than it. If that makes sense. But these aren't plushies you buy, you just win those sometimes, and they're based off Pokemon. But also, Gengar does have the tag, so the tag will look like this a lot most of the time. And yeah. Oh wait, I forgot. Most of the times they will have Toy Factory, and they'll also have like a tag on top of it that has like Pikachu, but only Pikachu. Well, a lot of plushies do, but you can flip it and it'll say Toy Factory too, so yeah. Though if you're watching this video, I don't know if he would have the tag. Okay, so here's Jazwares Wicked Cool Toy. I forgot to bring Wicked Cool Toy. So Jazwares or Wicked Cool Toys has been around. Well, they've been around for a while, but the Pokemon plushies have started like, I think it was like really late Gen 7. So that's when it started pretty much. And they're still going. These guys use specific like minky fabric most of the time. A lot of details too for these plushies because they're pretty decently sized. They're all around the same scale. I won't say they're all the same size exactly, but they're like scaled the same. Other than like a few exceptions like Charizard or like Blastoise where they're like bigger. You mostly find them in this range. And that also means the Pokemon selection is mostly smaller Pokemon, more marketable ones. But they have branched out a lot, and there are a lot of different ones. Like, you have the Sleeping Jazwares plushies. You have the small Sleeping Jazwares plushies. There's a lot of them. And they do come in a variety of different fabric styles. And yeah, their tag also looks like this for Wicked Cool Toys, which is kind of phased out. And now for Jazwares, it just looks like this. I'd say this, like, I guess this is more personal, but their poses are also like inoffensive in a way. Like most of the time they're just in like neutral posing. They have some exceptions to that, like these ones, but the only ones you usually find outside of that range or like posing or expressions is just like Pikachu, Squirtle, Bulbasaur, and Charmander, and Eevee. Those ones, they do have a lot of different stuff like winking, but the rest of them don't really. Which is different from a few other plushies that are in like specific like poses, but these ones aim to be like as neutral as possible, I guess for imagination. I've heard people say that these even are like boring in their display, and I don't fully agree that they're boring, but I get where they're coming from. Because some Pokemon plushies just have a lot more personality than these ones, in their own like specific poses or like things that make them seem more distinct. So I get it. But if you bought a Pokemon plush from the store and it's been in like the past, I'm gonna say like 9, no not 9, maybe like 8 years, 7 to 8 years. Yeah, this is in like the past 7 to 8 years probably. And you go out from the store and its fabric is like this, then you might have a Jazwares plush. Wicked Cool Toys. Wait, no, was it really 8 years? I don't remember, okay? It's been a while. Okay, I just searched it up. It was from 2018, so 2018, that was like actually 8 years ago, so I guess I was right. Okay, so now we have Tomy. I can't tell you Tomy specific when they started making Pokemon stuff in the US, but this is the US line of it. Oh wait, I just found it, 2013. So these are kind of the Pokemon plushies I remember when I was younger. Well, not that I had many. Well, not that I had any actually, until one certain point. But these Pokemon plushies were around like 2013 to, well, 2018 when they lost the license. If you watch a lot of Pokemon videos from like the 2010s with Pokemon plushies, you can probably see these ones. I saw these ones in stores. I always wanted a Trico one, but I couldn't get it. Okay, funny side tangent. I liked Pokemon as a kid, so when I didn't have any Pokemon plushies, I just pretended that my other plushies were kind of like Pokemon, and they did like Pokemon like moves. That's for another time. And the other time is never, because this is a different video. But this is the Tomy plushies. As you can see, they have like a different type of fabric than the other ones. It catches dust pretty easily, or dirt. But it's like fluffy in a way. I don't know how to describe it, you can see it on the camera. These guys have a bit more variety in poses. And a bit more variety in size too. As I said though, this is also Jazwares, not Tomy US, and that's a tag, you can see it right there. Like if you look at this Delbert, he's not in a very neutral pose. Both of his eyes are facing the front of his head, when Delbert's eyes are usually facing, well, I guess they'd be facing straight forward. It feels like a Jazwares plush. But this isn't a Jazwares plush, this is a Tomy plush. I think this is one that last ones they released actually. And yeah. So if you have a plush from like 2013 to 2018 and it looks like this, especially with like all this like fabric, then it's probably a Tomy plush, and there's a tag too. It's probably the most like, easy one to point out because he just says Tomy right there. But yeah, not all these guys will have tags, especially if you buy them secondhand. And the final one for today. These are the Pokemon Center plushies. I'll get both of them out of the way because these are both different lines, important ones. This is the Staying Cuties or Pokemon Fit line. They specialize in having every single Pokemon as a plush, and they're still making them, so they will have every single Pokemon at one point. And they're also small, that's why they're called City Cuties, and this will fit in like the palm of your hand. There's like small. I can't tell you when this line released, but it can't be anywhere past like, I think it started after 2020 or like 2019. I could check right now. I need to stop doing this research while I'm doing this video. Okay, I'm wrong, and this started in like 2018, and they gradually released a long time, but yeah. These plushies are, as I said, small, they have beans, usually in their butt. Kind of like Jack's Elastos being in their butts, I forgot to mention that. But if you look at these plushes side by side, I do see why you can get them mixed up. They are pretty similar. But I've seen like people confusing these two lines a lot. They're saying like, oh, I had this plush as a kid, when it's like not the same plush. So that's kind of why I felt inspired to make this video. These guys are a lot newer and have way more detail than the Jack's plushes. Detail and complexity. Right now we're up to Gen 6, I believe. No, never mind, we went to Gen 7. So there's 2 more generations right now to be done, and Gen 10 will be released soon, so I guess that makes 3. But yeah, those are the Sitting Cuties / Pokemon Fit line, and this is the big one, the Poke Plush line. This line just specializes on making completely accurate Pokemon plushies, well, as accurate as possible. And it will impress you if you buy some of the more complex ones, but most of them are kind of like, well, not most of them, but a lot of them fall into like that category, but like a little bit more high quality. They're like medium size plushies that are like that, but it's hard to explain. But sometimes there's like a huge quality difference in the ones released here in the Pokemon plush, or Poke Plush. That's the name, right? Yeah. The sound also really soft. This plush of Thaki is soft. You're paying more, but you're getting a little bit more quality, and especially when the plushies get bigger, the difference starts to be made a lot more. This is my Rillaboom plush, and he has pose ability. Yeah, he looks just like the game model, and he is poseable. It's just like really cool. These are some of the best Pokemon plushies you can get if you can stomach the price. So I hope you learned something today about the Pokemon plush lines, and these are not close to all of them. If you want like a part 2, I can make one day. Because there's even more lines from Pokemon Center, which is pretty insane. Oh wait, I forgot to say the criteria. Dang it, I should have scripted this video, you know. Okay, so there's a plush that's pretty high quality, kind of like those ones. I can't say what year they've released, but these are like high quality plushies, and if you're in the US, you probably bought them online, and if you're not in the US, you probably bought them online. But if you live in Japan, you could buy these from the store, the Pokemon Center, in person. Well, if you just go to Japan, they'll be there. And their high quality really will set them apart from the Jazwares ones. Like, they have more character selection, they have more detail, and sometimes even posability. Okay, as I said, I can't say when specifically this line starts, but I know that some of the plushies are from like the Kalos era, so I'd say like around 2013, and maybe even before that a little, so yeah. And you can still buy new ones, they still make new ones, they made a Fallout one, and I really want that one. So there's a lot of options. Why did I say a lot of options? Like I'm trying to tell you how to identify that product. So the tag, okay, so sometimes it looks like this, Pokemon Center. And sometimes it looks like this, and it's bad. Pokemon Center. And it depends when they were made. Some of the newer ones have those tags, and the Pokemon Center one just looks way more appealing than all this legal information, but you get it. Though I'll say, out of all of them, I think these ones and those ones, Jazwares ones, are easiest to like get mixed up. But I know if you know what you're looking for, you probably won't get too mixed up. If you know, yeah. And I think everybody said the closing out thing because they didn't skip this, and I said it before I finished it. So yeah, have a good day, hopefully. And hopefully now you know your Pokemon plushies, so you know which one you bought from that one yard sale.
always be my dearest friend.